Okay, so for this demo, we need 4 Corda nodes: party A, party B, a notary cluster, and an oracle. So for this particular demo, this oracle node actually contains 2 oracle services. One is the XRP settlement oracle, and the other is an FX rate oracle. So it's just easier to have them on one node for this demo. So what I'm going to do is start a bunch of flows from the node shells you can see here, and then we're going to look at the results of those flows. But firstly, what I need to do is create an obligation between Alice and Bob. Usually an obligation would probably be created via some other Corda app, like an invoicing or a trading Corda app, but today for the demo I'm just going to create one manually. So luckily I have these pre-made commands which I can copy paste into the node shell to save time. So I'm just going to show you the first one here, which is to create an obligation for a specific amount. So you can see here that the amount is made up of a quantity in cents and a token type, which in this case is US dollar. We say that party A is the obligor and counterparty B is the beneficiary. We say that the obligation is due by this point in time. This is actually a Unix timestamp, so it's this many days from the Unix from the epoch, which is actually, I think, the 1st of December. And we say that this obligation is not anonymous, so the party information is included inside the obligation as well as the public keys. So we can just start that command now, and we can see now that there is an obligation between Alice and Bob, party A and party B, for $10 US. So that's great. So now both A and B can see the same obligation. Next, what we need to do is actually novate the face value currency of this obligation, because we want to settle it in XRP. So what we need to do is use this command where we change the token type from US dollar to XRP. And of course, because this implies an FX rate or an FX transaction, we need to use the FX oracle. So I'll just enter that command, and we should get back an updated obligation. So we can see here now that the obligation is denominated in XRP, and it's 27.1 XRP, which is the US dollar value of XRP at that point in time. Perfect. Right. So what we need to do now is add the settlement instructions. So that has to be done by the beneficiary node. So we can go over here to party B, who's the beneficiary, and what they're saying is that they want to be paid to this XRP address, and they want to use this oracle as the settlement oracle. The rest of this is just to aid deserialization. So let's use that command. Okay, so that was pretty quick. We can see now that the settlement method or the settlement instructions have been added to the obligation. So now we're all set to actually settle the obligation. So what I'm going to do now is copy paste this part, and this has to be done from the obligor's Corda node. So what we're doing here is we're saying that we want to settle with a payment of 27.1 XRP, and this is the obligation that we want to settle. So there's, I'll press enter and I'll start this flow, and then I can explain what's going on behind the scenes, because Corda abstracts a lot of the complexity here. So we can see that now we're waiting for a response from the settlement oracle, but a whole bunch of steps quickly happened before then. So much of the complexity of the payment is actually abstracted away by the Corda flows, but I just want to give you a flavor of what's actually going on at the moment. So there's a config file containing the obligor's Ripple account and account secret and the preferred Ripple node which they want to use. So these details, along with the settlement method information, can be used to create and sign a payment transaction. But we also add the hash of the linear ID of the obligation which we want to settle to the XRP payment as the invoice ID. This is so the oracle knows which obligation the payment is in respect of. So the payment amount here is actually in drops, so it's in the smallest denomination of XRP. So we need to actually multiply the amount by 100,000 to get the XRP amount. So as well here, there's also a bit of complexity because Corda flows are actually continuations. So it could potentially be the case that they're replayed from a point where the flow was previously suspended if a node fails for some reason. So therefore, it's important that our interaction with the Ripple node is idempotent. So the payment flow will tell you if you submit the same transaction twice, or if the Ripple account sequence number is incorrect, which in this case, starting the payment flow would likely fix this. So here you can see that the obligation has been settled. So it's been settled with a payment of 27.1 XRP, and this is the transaction hash of that payment. You can see that payment itself settled, and what we can do now is take a look at this on the Ripple network. So we can take this transaction hash, copy that, and then we can paste it in here. And we can see that this is a transaction for 27.1 XRP, and it is to this address here, RA6MZL1. And of course, this is the address that the beneficiary added that they would like to be paid to. So we can see here that there really is a payment happening on the Ripple network, and this payment settles the obligation. Thanks for watching the Corda Settler demo, showing a Corda obligation settled with XRP. We're really excited for other settlement rails to integrate their systems. It just requires 2 integration points, one to submit a payment and another to check the payment status. We're looking forward to showing you other settlement partners over the next few months.